Welcome to the Jim Thomas Gym Business Explainer, which is powered by MaxMembers.ai. Today, we're going to be walking you through a really critical white paper from Jim Thomas himself. And our goal? It's simple, to give you some real, actionable insights that you can use to protect and, of course, grow your business.
All right, let's just dive right in, because this quote from Jim really hits the nail on the head. We all worry about the obvious things, right? A slippery floor, a frayed cable, but the real danger, the kind of stuff that can actually put a gym out of business, it's almost always lurking in the places you're not even looking.
So, a huge welcome to everyone listening in today. Whether you're a gym owner, an operator, a manager, in sales, an entrepreneur just starting out, or a trainer on the floor, you are who makes this industry go round. And hey, a quick note for you folks looking to open a new gym, maybe acquire an existing one, or you just need some working capital. We can provide funding options up to $500K. It's unsecured, no restrictions on use. You can check that out over at fmconsulting.net. Now let's get into those insights.
You know, the modern gym isn't just four walls and a bunch of weights anymore. It's a really complex environment. We're juggling 24/7 access, independent trainers, high-intensity workouts, and more legal eyes on us than ever before. The game has totally changed, and that means our approach to liability has to change right along with it.
So, let's kick things off with one of the biggest game changers in our industry, 24/7 access. It's an absolutely incredible model for giving members what they want. But, wow, from a liability perspective, it is one of the most misunderstood parts of the entire business.
And this right here is probably the biggest myth we need to bust. So many gym owners think that a solid waiver is like a magic shield that protects them from everything. But the reality is, courts are looking way deeper than that. They want to know if you took reasonable steps to keep people safe, what the law calls your duty of care, especially when there's no staff in the building.
And this table just lays it out perfectly, the difference between being exposed and being prepared. Over on the left, you see the common, and let's be honest, dangerous assumptions, like thinking a camera is the same thing as supervision. It's not. But on the right, that's what proactive, defensible businesses are doing. They have written safety protocols, they've got panic buttons, they run regular audits. See, this isn't just about safety, it's about being able to prove you take safety seriously. So I want you to just pause and really think about this for a second. If something bad happens at your gym at 2 o'clock in the morning, could you stand up in court and clearly show all the steps you took to keep that member safe? Your honest, gut-level answer to that question, well, that tells you exactly how exposed you really are.
Now, that whole idea of proving you're doing the right thing, that extends to your team too. And that brings us to our second big risk, an issue that, man, it catches so many good operators completely by surprise. And that is the legal status of your trainers. Are they really independent contractors? Or are they, in the eyes of the law, employees? Jim calls this the silent legal landmine, and that is the perfect way to describe it. See, if a trainer who you think is just an independent contractor injures a client, a court might decide they're actually your employee. That can trigger something called vicarious liability, which is just a fancy legal term that means you are now responsible for what they did. And just like that, you're the one on the hook, facing huge insurance gaps and a world of legal pain.
So how do you know if you're at risk? Well, take a look at this checklist. Do you control their schedules? Do you set their pricing? Do you require them to wear a uniform? The more of these boxes you check, the more likely it is that a judge is going to say that trainer is your employee no matter what your contract says.
And that's the scariest part, right? This is a hidden liability. It doesn't show up as a line item on your P&L statement. It's this invisible threat that can suddenly pop up and become a business-ending expense.
Okay, this brings us to our third major hidden risk. And honestly, this might be the most important one of all. It's not just about what you do to keep your gym safe, it's about what you can prove you do.
I want you to let that sink in. Just burn this phrase into your brain. From a legal standpoint, this is the absolute truth. All your hard work, all your best intentions, it can mean absolutely nothing in a courtroom if you don't have the paperwork to back it all up.
And this slide shows you exactly where things go wrong. No equipment inspection logs, a plaintiff's attorney will argue you were negligent. No formal incident reporting system, they'll say you have a pattern of just ignoring problems. But smart operators, they have systems, they have logs, they have formal procedures, and they review their waivers every single year. They create a paper trail of professionalism.
Okay, so we've covered the three biggest hidden risks: 24/7 access, trainer status, and poor documentation.
But look, just knowing what the problems are is only half the battle. The real solution here, it requires a fundamental shift in how you even think about risk.
For so long, so many of us have looked at risk management, insurance, legal fees, safety protocols, as just another expense, just a drain on the bottom line. But that's the old way of thinking.
The new way, the smart way, is to see it as a brand asset. A safe, well-run, and legally defensible gym builds trust with your members. And that trust leads directly to higher retention, which, as we all know, is the key to profitability. Your commitment to safety actually becomes part of your brand.
So here's a little homework for you. Take this list back to your business and ask these questions. Be brutally honest. If the answer to any of them is no, or maybe I'm not really sure, that's your starting point. That's your opportunity to make your business that much stronger.
And let's land the plane with this, because it's the most important takeaway. Staying out of serious legal trouble isn't about being lucky. It is about being intentional. It's about understanding that liability isn't just an insurance policy, it's a discipline that you practice every single day in your business.
So, if any of this has raised a red flag for you, or if you just want to be more intentional about protecting your business, here's your next step. We really encourage you to reach out to Jim Thomas for a risk and compliance review. His number is 214-629-7223, and his email is jthomas@fmconsulting.net. And before we sign off, be sure to check out our fantastic sponsor, Jim Business Manager. They've got the best gym software out there. You can find them at jimbusinessmanager.com. Thanks so much for joining us for this explainer. Go out there and operate with awareness.